And of course, on Monday, Jim, as has happened every Monday, seemingly forever and ever and ever, WWE Raw, a show that goes on forever and ever and ever, aired on the USA Network, and
no, it didn't.
No, it didn't. It's on Netflix. See, I don't even.
The other one's on. Yeah, we don't care. I watched the first segment because that was all the people needed to know. They were in Louisville at the KFC Yum Center. Boy, we used to have the cool arena, Freedom Hall, and that's the Yum Center. But they did a package on last week with Paul Heyman and Seth and Braun Breaker and Jey Uso and Sammy and Punk. And, set up that story that is being told now. And then they'd had the walk-ins, and suddenly they go to the back and like Mussolini in Kentucky. Out he comes. CM Punk is back in Louisville, back home. You know what, Brian? I didn't know anything about the ticket sales beforehand. I remembered they were coming to town. I was obviously not moved to tears by that, but it ain't like the old days here in Louisville, because they're drawing some big crowds. They had 17,000 in St. Louis or whatever. They only had 10,000 or so in the Yum Center. It seats 22,000. And this at Lexington and Louisville in the Attitude Era, I think we sold Freedom Hall out twice and Rupp Arena once. So things have not come back everywhere.
Rupp Arena's how many seats?
It was sold off for a pay-per-view. They did 22,000 people there.
Wow.
I mean, if you had a regular wrestling setup and no television, you could get 24,000 fucking people, or 25 for wrestling in Rupp, but it wasn't that big. Still, point being, I remember that's when Triple H had to get juice and did it right in front of the fucking commission, even though it was against state law, and they didn't do another fucking television or pay-per-view in the state of Kentucky for 15 years. Because Tim Gunnerman wanted to have their license pulled, but they just ended up fining them like $20,000 or something. Anyway, point being, here came Punk to the ring, and he's pissed off about everything, but he's most pissed off at himself because Heyman stabbed him in the back. He did it before, but twice is on me. I thought we had all matured and moved past that, but Paul's a fat little snake, and Seth Rollins is the Temu CM Punk. And Punk said he wanted to get his hands on Paul and squeeze him till his eyes pop out. And then Heyman appeared. And Punk said, "Oh, come on, Penguin. Get in the ring. Come in here and explain why you did what you did. And remember, when you choose those words, they will be your last." And then Seth's music played. And Seth and Braun came out, and that got the big CM Punk chants going. And Seth took up for Paul and said that Punk's the problem, and he's the reason that Seth is not champion. And Punk said, "As long as I'm on 2 feet, you'll never be champion." But Seth went on for a little while and then sent Braun to the ring. And Braun got on Punk, but Punk fought back and tackled Seth, and Braun got on Punk again, and Sammy came in, and Braun stopped Sammy. But Paul gave Seth a chair, but Jey Uso came in, but they stopped him. But then Punk and Sammy got their own chairs, and the heels bailed out. And they set up a tag match for Saturday night's main event. And it's like, we talk for 10 minutes, we're going to jump in the ring, a little dust up, make a match, get the fuck out of here. And it worked. And it's going to be Punk and Sammy against Seth and Braun at Saturday night's main event on May 24th, which, by the way, is the night before the pay-per-view event by the Children's Wrestling League. And it's going to be a busy weekend. And I know let me just say this. A lot of people are going to say, oh, the WWE is obviously persecuting AEW. I don't think that the WWE has that much control over NBC Television's network schedule. Do you?
Not now, no.
So, Mama says it bees that way sometimes. But anyhow.
We will see what happens, but that was all of WWE Raw that I watched. Do you think Sammy's going to turn on CM Punk?
No. I really don't believe that it would be in Sami Zayn's best interest, as over as he's gotten and as popular as he is for being the pacifist and the baby face who sees the good in everybody. I don't think he needs to stab anybody in the back anymore.
All right, so it'll be a big, boring tag team match at Saturday night's main event in, whenever, a few weeks. That was Raw, ladies and gentlemen.
You're just demoralized by this.
You know what? I've just stopped enjoying their programs. It started shortly before Mania. You know, everyone points to The Rock, but it wasn't just The Rock. You know, it wasn't just the lateness in WrestleMania this year on the calendar. Something's felt off booking-wise, or lazy booking-wise. Now, look, maybe part of it is, you know, when you think of the WWF in the early 80s, the WWF that Paul Levesque would have seen as a kid, they really gave you very little.
Yeah.
And everything took forever to happen. Maybe this is part of that. Because look, they're giving everyone enough to make the money they want to make. They just had another, you know, quarterly profit announcement, and it was through the roof. They're making so much money. And they're giving people less and less. More commercials on the pay-per-view. There's advertising everywhere. The fucking man had Morgan & Morgan in the middle of the fucking ring. It's over monetization. And again, you want to make money with every angle of it. And someone's going to go, well, you try to make money. Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference. They've got a sponsor for every sponsor. This is the Snickers match brought to you by Towelette, or just all sorts of shit. Cody's doing really bad acting in his commercials for Wheatley Vodka, which is a commercial in the middle of the pay-per-view.
He can talk about vodka, but he can't come back to get even with everybody's kicked him in the balls.
And Cody, they took a lot of steam off Cody. Everything with The Rock, the Cena stuff, the match, the things that he did as a babyface in 2025. Roman Reigns is like in and out. I guess he's out. He was just in Vanity Fair. They did a big article about him and his acting. I don't know. I thought this was going to be like a big boom year, and it feels like they've got the elements for a boom, but they don't got the... I mean, they've got big interest, but there's not like anything that's really just hot right now. Or am I wrong? Argue with me.
No, I'm actually, I can't find anything to argue with, and I'm looking. I'm hot right now having to watch this shit.
All right. You heard it here first. Less reviews. If it does good shit, we'll watch it. Otherwise, we'll watch plenty of bad shit somewhere.
Or we'll just talk about some stupid people.
All right. Well, Jim, that was Raw.